So today we're going to take a look at how Mech lost in a big upset to Big, and we're going to take a look at Ascent, and this was quite an interesting game, and we're mostly going to focus on Mech's attack, mainly because, you know, they're still a very good defensive team, and their defense wasn't too bad in this game either. I will say that Big played very well, and we'll see in some of the clips that they did play very well, but we're just going to take a look at some of the problems, one of which was that they just kept going B. I think they went A twice in their entire attacking side and only once got on to the A site, and that was only one player as well. So, you know, there was some problems here, and let's just take a look. But it starts off with the pistol round, and the pistol round, actually, they have a nice idea, is what I will say. We're going to get the early Omen one-way KO knife from Big here on their defensive side, and the KO knife trade. Very normal stuff, but Nats has this set up in mid, which I think that they stole from DRX, where you smoke off this here. In fact, we'll get a good look at it here on the normal view. So you can see here we've got this smoke, which is being recalled, and we have a deeper smoke as well back here that is going to be an actual smoke. And what this allows you to do with this recon in here, you clear all of this, right? You get this smoke up so you can't see, and you get the Jet and the Astra running up in here. Something that DRX did, and I really like it. So you see we got like the two smokes. This one fades because it's a fake, and you get this kind of early pushed up mid position. And then they have an even cooler idea on top of that as well, which is using this Jet smoke here to cover off this turret on B. And so now Nats has been able to sneak up into this corner, and Big have absolutely no idea. Also, Defo has managed to push up to the backside of mid as well, as you can see here. But eventually, after this dash runs out, he is going to start coming back, and the turret actually sees him and starts shooting him. But eventually, Defo is going to manage to get away. Now, this is actually okay, right? Yeah, sure, he gave up this space, but they have no idea that Nats is here. This is a great bait that, you know, it looks like Defo's just come up here, and now he's come back, and they have absolutely no idea that Nats is going to be here. So after Twiston and Defo trade a shot there, actually, Twiston goes down to 13 HP. Mech are going to go and start pressuring towards A, which was pretty rare for them. But as we'll see here, we get this nice Omen flash from Aslan, and they killed that Killjoy alarm bot. But what's really going to happen here is Twiston's about to get 2 kills because the smoke that we just saw was up just fades, and so Twiston is able to get not 1 but 2 kills there very quickly, and so that's not great. But whilst that is going on, Nats, obviously, who's just been in this corner the whole time, eventually peeks out and kills the Killjoy. So whilst they were thinking about going A, now that Nats has killed the Killjoy on B, they decide to go to B instead. And you see that Nats starts running towards spawn, and he gets another kill as well, and almost gets the third. But now we just ended up in a chaotic round, right? I mean, just look at the map, right? We've got the KO and the Sova here, the Astras here. I mean, you know, just look at the map. It's chaos. And really, it all comes down to this fight here with the Omen and the Sova here. And unfortunately, Shados on the Sova just wasn't quite expecting it. Maybe, again, this is one where you would say, you know, again, on a pistol round where you can be caught off like this, you know, go together. As a group here, the KO and the Sova, so that this doesn't happen. But unfortunately, it does happen, and then Nats looks the wrong way on Twiston here. He gets a third kill, so he's on 13 HP, and he managed to get 3 kills on a pistol. Not something you often see, very unfortunate. But you see here that they had nice ideas. It just didn't quite work out. Twister manages to get 2 kills. The smoke fades at the wrong time. You know, things just weren't working out from the very start. And now let's come to round number 3. So this is the bonus round for Big here against the full buy of Mech. Although they only all have light shields, as they tried to kind of buy into that second round a bit and try and win it, but unfortunately they didn't. It starts off with much the same thing that we had earlier, right? The smoke in mid. This time they get early mid control again. This smoke right in the recalled star here that we saw before. All the same, and they get the KO and the Jet this time pushed up in deep towards mid. And Defo actually is going to keep walking. They have a really nice idea again to start off with, where you've got Defo pushed up here. Redguard's going to throw a flash over that wall, flashes Twisting completely, and Defo gets a nice early kill. Now you might say, ooh, should he go and push in towards spawn here? You know, should he go and try and play around with this area now that this person has died? Well, against a save, essentially, or, you know, on your bonus round here where you've got the better guns, I personally agree with Defo here that, you know, not taking this risk is probably the correct choice, because they already have the question mark that you could have done that, as you can see from the Omen here towards this little area. The map is already looking back, right? Worried that that might be the case, but there's no real reason to take that risk and maybe give them a free gun or anything like that. So I overall agree with Defo's decision. The thing is, though, this is kind of going to play against them, because because they got this kill back here, it kind of forced the Sova and the KO to push up because, you know, they thought that someone might come behind them, so they didn't want to get caught out by that. So they've actually pushed B main, and they're actually going to come pushing around here eventually as well, and you'll see that that is going to be very important in this round. But as we run it forward, they come towards short, and they're just going to, you know, take a little pause essentially. Nats is this is actually the one round they do manage to plant on A. Which is the only time in the game. So you see the KO, they see them there, but they're still watching out for it. So they decide to go back. But again, that Sova and KO are going to come as we start to get the pressure in here. Musashi gets one there, but he gets traded out as he gets spammed by pretty much everyone. But now the KO and the Sova, you know, recognizing the situation, decide to fully flank from B. And they are going to make a pretty big play, or at least the KO is. As Zepho dashes in, he gets one. He does get traded, so they trade with that. But then, as you can see, Looker threw a KO nade that got 2 kills, which leaves Nats now in a 1v2 with very little time remaining. So even though they managed to get the first kill against on a bonus round, they still aren't able to convert this round as Nats begins running towards A. Really nice flash from Looker there. Obviously the time is already gone at this point, but they even managed to find that next kill as well. Really nice round from Big. Obviously Looker just going absolutely huge with that KO nade. And yeah, things just weren't working out for Mech really at all. And now let's come to round 8, and as we're just watching this round play out, I'm going to just talk about what I think, because I think we'll see it in this round, specifically from Twiston, is something that mechs sometimes lack. We're going to see them just take mid control again, do what they were doing pretty early. We see some early B main control come out from Big, but they get a bit worried about mid because this KO gets very, very deep very early, so they fall off from B main, do Big. But what I was going to talk about with Mech is that it's quite ironic that their name is Mech, because when they play well, they look like a well-oiled machine, and you know, everything seems to work, and every idea they have, they just seem impossible to beat when they play at their best. But when things aren't working right, it looks really clunky at times. And I think one of the reasons is because if that structure fails for them, no one is really willing to kind of go outside of that structure, you know, take like a big risk and say, fine, I'll just do it on my own. And we're gonna see, you know, Twiston, who did this a lot in this game, you know, he's big star player, and he's just going to say, I'll do it. You know, don't worry about it. I've got this. And that's exactly what we're going to see in this round, because he makes a decision that's, you know, quite crazy, but it ends up getting them a kill, as we'll see. Because as Big eventually as Mech, decide to come to B, what he's going to do is he fires that up shot, but then he's just going to charge into it, right? He's just going to absolutely charge through it and just run through the smoke, you know, with an up here, and he's going to manage to find Chronicle in the back from just running out, and then he dashes down towards mid, right? Not even away, towards mid. And that's something that I think sometimes Mech lack, that no one on their side is really willing to do what we just saw, right? Something just crazy aggressive and just like, you know, fine, I'll just do it on my own. That's something that we don't really see. And then we're going to see Big. As I said, they played really well in this game, because this dart and KO flash from these two players here on B, this is going to be really, really nice, because that dart starts catching them there. This flash is absurd, right? And the flash comes out just as they're trying to shoot the dart, and so they start picking up kills from, but they get a kill from both of those as well. Obnox then wins that fight, and all of a sudden Nats is in a 5v1, right? Really, really well played by Big overall, but I think that Twiston in particular, and just how much like freedom he has to play with, it really highlighted that Mech just don't have that. And I feel like on their defensive rounds, it's fine, right? Because on defense, it is pretty structured most of the time. You know, most of the times you won't need to make a big hero play like that. But on the attacking side, where, you know, you need to find that opening and whatnot, sometimes you need someone to just say, fine, I'll do it. And we have seen sometimes Nats do it and whatnot. And maybe Chronicle even as well, but you know, it's not consistent. And now let's come to round number 10, and this is quite an interesting round as well, and I think we will see, again, some of that maybe lack of individual flair, things not fitting within the structure, because again, they start off with this very same approach, right? There's smoke here, they recall this one, they get early mid control, right? It's all the same kind of stuff that they were doing. And actually Big put this smoke down here, but with the jet knives here, Defo's going to destroy this alarm bot, and then they're going to go and try and make an even deeper mid push here, as we see. Try and find someone there, nice little updraft, and then they're even going to find the first kill here on Obnox as well with Defo, and Well, I talked about how he didn't push this area before after finding this kill in the earlier round, and I thought that that was a good idea on that round because you don't want to take that risk and give them a gun. In this round, he only has his knives, so I mean, Big have guns as well, so it's not like they would need to pick up a gun either. But he only has his knives in this round, and I feel like again, this is something where this is a Durker or, you know, someone who's like really aggressive. They might go, well, I've just got this kill, I'm gonna push it, right? But actually, look at the reaction of the big players that. Even though this is a distinct possibility that, you know, Defo could be running or anywhere here, they don't really react to it at all. It's as if they knew he's not going to do it. He's just not going to do it. They just won't do it. Eventually, the Killjoy is going to quickly check, you know, that they haven't done that. But before, when we saw this Omen worrying about spawn, now he's not worried. Look at him. Just completely blind focused on this. We know you're not going to do that. The knife even gets destroyed here, so they don't know that Defo is still in this position. The Killjoy quickly checks it, but again, like, as soon as just a brief look there, right? Like, Defo could easily be over here by now. Just, they know, right? It was as if they knew, like, yeah, he's not going to do that because it doesn't fit within their structure, right? They haven't planned for what if they were going to do that. And I think that is a bit of a problem. So again, they eventually decide to come to B because that was pretty much what they were doing at this point. And they send in the dart, but again, we're going to see Musashi here put down this Killjoy lockdown, which again, you know, probably is obviously a bit of a problem for Mech now. You know, there's a lot of time pressure on this hit now. They have to really start coming towards it. They actually get a trade there, and then it's just Looker just on his own. This smoke though from the Omen is really, really nice because otherwise Looker is just dead. They know where he is, but this smoke gives him a chance. It gives him something to play around, and so he's able to get a kill. And then we get a really nice flash. I will say that Aslan played insanely well in this map, and this round was probably his best round because he gets that kill as well in B main. Manages to spam that one and spam the box to kill Shados before the spike goes down. An absurdly good round from Aslan, I must say. But then we see like the reaction from Big that they just seem to know how Mech were going to play within their own limits, and again, maybe that is a bit of a problem for Mech, that it makes them a bit readable on attack. And now let's come to round number 11, and in this round, Mech are going to try and run a fake, actually, and this is going to be quite an interesting round, I think, on the whole. So they get early aim control. Actually, we don't see the KO knife or the Omen one-way come up. Big playing a bit more passive on A this time. We get a trade of KO knives, and what they're going to do is run a fake here. They're going to get Redgar with the KO while trying to sell that this is an A hit, but unfortunately, you know, it isn't. But we'll see here. We get the Astral in there, and Redgar goes running in with the KO, but dies almost instantly as Musashi just spams into the smoke. And this, I think, is a bit of a problem with these fakes where you've got like just one person running in on their own, like with a KO or something, that it seems a little short-sighted that, you know, Redgar doesn't know how many people are on this side of the Astral Wall, essentially, right? And so he's pretty much at this point always going to die without getting a kill. So you just end up in a 4v5. Also, these guys are still very far away from B overall. So, you know, for this to kind of really work, Redgar would have had to live for quite some time, to be honest, you know, and they have no info of what's going on in B main, so they're going to have to take their time clearing that. Like, you know, you see that there are problems here. Personally, I would probably prefer if the Sova was also here and, you know, droning out for Redgar, they could see, okay, how many people are actually on our side of the Astral Wall? You know, is this fake really going to work? How fast should we do it? You know, might give Redgar the chance to actually get a kill as well. I think I would prefer that. It would also sell the fake a bit better. You know, you have a Sova drone going in it as well, right? That makes more sense, I think, overall, as a fake as well. So I personally would prefer to see that, because what we're going to see is Redgar dies straight away, no one else comes, Big pretty quickly figure out what the game is, right? Like here, Twiston, you know, he's not moving, he actually moves back towards B. The Sova comes back towards B and makes sure that mid is cleared. This KO clears out the rest of mid. They just start getting there very, very fast, right? That by the time that Mech are now trying to, you know, drone out of B main and come onto B site, you know, Big are already rotating. They know what's going on. They know the jig is up, essentially. And you still have to deal with Twiston. They send in the Killjoy nanoswarms as well, and this Sovereign as well to just delay them even more. And now they're just in a 4v5, essentially, right? And so this is what I talked about with this fake, when you just kind of sacrifice someone. I'm not quite sure it's really all that worth it, but here we go. We have Devo. Actually, I talked about them not wanting to make a play outside of structure. Well, this time he actually does try, you know, because they are in a 4v5, to just make a play. Unfortunately, it's not going to quite go his way, and he ends up peeking into two people and dying there. But now we're just going to see the Twistin show really on the site. And as I said, Big played very well in this game. You know, they really did play very well, and Twistin just shows that the shorty is absurd, and then hits a, you know, he goes back to playing MW2 or whatever, and quick scoping people, and gets the last kill as well. So yeah, really well played by Big, I thought, particularly Twistin there, you know, just holding that down on its own. But yeah, you see some of the ideas from Mech, like it's not necessarily a bad idea, but you know, maybe the execution wasn't quite there. But now let's come to the final round. And overall, look, Mech's defensive side is still pretty decent, I think. You know, they were 9-3 down, and you know, it's 12-9 now. So they were winning 6-3 on this defensive side to this point. And actually, if you look at the buy of both sides, you'd imagine that they'd win this round as well. But this round, oh my goodness, this round, you're not going to believe it when you see it. And I think that this is the thing, right? Like, I've talked about, obviously, those off-structure plays not coming in for Mech in this video, and I think that confidence is a big part of that, right? That when you are feeling confident, you feel more like you can make those off-structure plays because you just have more confidence, right? But I think that Mech, that is one problem that they have right now, that maybe they're not so confident. Obviously, you know, there's a lot going on in kind of the world, so I'm not going to blame them too much if they are struggling, of course, but this round, oh dear, this round is going to be pretty ugly. So it starts off in this position here. You know, Big start towards A, they come back towards mid, they go silent for a bit. And we're going to get Mech, you know, they start fishing for answers. They send out this Sova drone. I'm not really sure. I think it maybe sees one player, but the rest tuck in. Well, maybe it doesn't even see any players, to be honest. They're going to send a KO knife into B main as well. So you know, they didn't really know what was going on. They have a pretty passive setup overall here. You see they send a Sova dart in here. You know, KO knife comes in here. They really didn't know at this point where Big were, but now, you know, with this KO knife, that kind of gives away the game. They destroy it. In comes the Sova drone. Chronicle actually hits a really nice headshot. He has to fall away as he gets tagged by the Sova dart, but they actually get the second kill as well with Defo on Aslan. And, you know, at this point, they have a pretty good idea of what's going on. But Twistin, again, is about to go nuts and hit Shados here. But then we're going to get the worst fight that's happened in VCT this year, as both Defo and Twistin just cannot hit any shots, and Twistin ends up knifing Defo. Whilst that's gone on, Musashi has also found Chronicle towards short as well, and so we end up in a 2v2, but Musashi goes back to go get a gun. Redgar whiffs pretty bad, and so Musashi is able to get that kill as well, and we end up with Nats in a 2v1. Truly a ridiculous round overall, and you know, it just wasn't that day. I mean, almost Twistin kills Nats there. Can you imagine if it would have ended with that? But then Nats here, he's got 2 stars left, right, and he decides to go for a bit of a suck and stun, thinking that Musashi might be there. He's actually behind this box the whole time, and so Nats is going to try and find him, but difficult situation to be in, really. Obviously, he has no real idea where he is, whereas Musashi has a pretty good idea where Nats is, and he's just going to peek out and manage to get that final kill on the Thrifty round. Just a terrible way to end the game for Mech, who honestly, had they won that round, it would have been 12-10. You know, that would have been a big round coming up, but you know, they easily could have pulled this back, to be honest. And it's just, yeah, I just feel like the confidence maybe isn't quite there for them right now. I still think, you know, they still have a very good chance of actually making it to playoffs. All they need to do is win one game. So, you know, they're more than capable of beating Liquid and making it to playoffs, and then even making a run themselves, right? If they just find their confidence and find their form, you know, they'll be fine. But it was a very nice win for Big, and we shouldn't take it away from Big either, that they played extremely well in this game as well.